Morning, CSL. Aww. Holidays are here. Yeah. So, to celebrate the holidays, I have a new mantra. And a new mantra that I want to share with you today. I use mantras in my spiritual practice a lot because they remind me of a truth that is so easy to forget in our world. Words repeated over and over again is an ancient spiritual practice that has been done in our world for thousands of years. It's mostly activated in the Hindu faith and also in Buddhism, so that you can adopt this for yourself if you like. Here's my new mantra. It's really simple. Here it is. Life works, good happens, people are wonderful. You want to try it with me? All right, here we go. Life works, good happens, people are wonderful. Okay, thank you. Now the question is, do you really believe that? Do you believe that life works and good happens and people are wonderful? Because if you don't believe that, then don't say it. I mean, if you think life sucks and crap happens and people are awful, then don't sit there and say the opposite. Don't lie to yourself, and don't pretend that everything is really great in your life and you're putting on your happy face when things really are not great in your life. We don't just say happy things to make ourselves feel better. We're not saying words of affirmation because we hope that they're going to be true, or that some magical being up there on high will look down on us in pity and say, oh, look, you're trying to be so positive and life is really crap, so we're going to give you a little bit of good, all right? This is not what we teach in Science of Mind. We don't fake it till we make it. We don't do denial. We are much healthier than that, and actually we're more pragmatic. We're very common sense people at CSL. We don't want religious opinion, and we don't want institutionalized doctrine. We want to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we don't want to know what's just true for you, or you, or you, or you, not your truth. We want to know what is universally true for all people under any circumstances at all times. This is what's called a metaphysical truth. It is universally applicable at all times under all circumstances. So let me take our mantra apart and see if it really is true. I mean, is the universe programmed to succeed? Does life really work? Is it supposed to work or not? Well, I guess that really depends. It depends on you, really, and your attitude and your choices and what you're thinking and what actions you take. Individually, if life is working, it's really an individual and personal choice. Whether your life works or not may or may not be happening, but I can promise you this: the universe is working. Universally, life is working. The planets are spinning. There's an intelligence at the helm of the universe that knows what it is doing. The universe is always in good shape, always. Here's a story that might help convince you. Now, I've been in ministry for 32 years. Oh, yeah, that's half of my life. And so that means that I've heard a lot of people's stories over the years, and particularly a lot of near-death experience stories. We're fascinated by those stories, really. They're all kind of really all the same, aren't they? Sort of go towards the light, go towards the light. But one woman told me a story a few years ago that I've never forgotten, and I remember her particular story because of the horror and despair that came across her face when she was telling me the story. So this is what happened to her. She happened to be driving at night in the winter. She was driving in an SUV, and she hit black ice and went over an embankment into a frozen river. And that's all she remembers. She doesn't remember anything about being in the car after it slid off the road. She said, I don't even remember my body feeling cold. She doesn't even remember how she got out of the car. In fact, she woke up a month later after having been in a coma in a hospital. And she said this, she says, all I remember is feeling myself floating away. Just floating away, weightless, and I was drawn to this amazing light. She says, no, that's not right. I wasn't actually drawn to the light. I was compelled to the light. You know, like a magnet will draw metal. It was so compelling. It was so beautiful. It was so loving that I didn't want anything else. I didn't think of anything else. I just kept moving toward it. And each time I stepped forward, there was more joy, there was more love, there was more light, there was more beauty. And she said, finally something happened, and I turned around and I looked behind me. And when I looked behind me, I could see the planet behind me, the little blue speck that we call Earth. And that's when, as she's telling me her story, the worst pain comes over her face. This deep, desperate look comes over her face as she tells me the story about turning around and looking. And this is why I've never forgotten her story and what she said. I said, well, what happened? And she said, when I looked back at our world, I realized, oh my God, they don't know how much they're loved. Oh my God, they have no idea how powerful they are. In our book of the month, Dr. Holmes wrote this: no artist ever sees beauty, he feels it. No psychologist has ever seen the mind. They watch the process, they see the performance, they know what happens. But the invisible thing, the unknown guest, they know nothing about. The unknown guest that he's talking about is the light and the love that created the universe. It's the light that my friend was drawn to, compelled to when she left her body. It's the animator of your body and the sustainer of all life in the universe. Some people call it God. I call it life. And here's how we know it works. Because if it didn't work, if it never worked, if the universe was programmed to fail, then it would have destroyed itself and everything in the universe with it. Life works. It works all of the time. Not part of the time, all the time. The universe is constructive, not destructive. It's conscious. It's awake. It's aware. It knows what it's doing. The intelligence at the helm of the universe knows what it's doing, and it is working to unfold one agenda, one single agenda. Do you know what that agenda is? To make good happen. That's it. That's it. That light that my friend was compelled to move toward when her spirit detached from her body is the light of God. It's the light of God, and it seeks you out. It comes to you. When you stand outside, the light comes to you. It seeks you and it guides you the same way that it seeks out and directs a plant to turn toward it so that it can grow. There's something inherently alive within all of us that's conscious and awake, something that instinctively guides us to our good, and that's how we know in our heart of hearts that love is right, that love is the answer, and that no matter what happens in this world, love will win. And this is how we know. And this is how we know that we're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be happy that joys are right. This is why primitive man built all those temples to the gods up there in the heavens. And why they made all those sacrifices to their man-made gods. We want our good, and by God, we're going to have it. Quite literally. By God, we're going to have it. What we didn't know is that no sacrifice is needed, no suffering is required. To put it simply, no payment is required for anything good that you want. It is a gift from the light that created you, from the light inside that animates your body, and from the light that guides your spirit. Life works, and good happens. That's why if you cut your skin, the intelligence in your body will direct all forces to close the wound and begin the healing. That's why the rain will stop and the sun will come out. That's why the earth continues to turn on its axis. And that's why no matter how bad a situation may be in your life, how bad it may appear, how awful the circumstances may be, in time, something good will come from it. Why? Because something good is in everything. And that's not just Pollyanna truth. That's not just a wish or a pretend things are great. It's the truth. It is the nature of nature, life, God, whatever you want to call it, to heal and to grow and to prosper. Just watch what happens to the land after a forest fire or a volcanic eruption. The planet renews itself, and the force that renews the planet will renew you too. It will renew you if you let it. If you don't get in the way. Life works, good happens, and people are wonderful. Are they really? I mean, are people wonderful? Or are they a bunch of asses? I don't know. Well, it depends, really, isn't it? It's your consciousness again, really. You see, the overlapping truth in all of this mantra is this. What you personally give out returns right back to you, baby. Right back to you. That is the ultimate universal truth and the basis for the golden rule. Whatever you send out will come right back to you, so don't be an ass. Because your life will stink. Back to our book of the month, Discover a Richer Life. He said this, it isn't always easy. Believe me, it isn't always easy. But we can resolve to make our emotions and our thoughts a little more optimistic, a little more affirmative, a little more enjoyable. It isn't always easy, is it? To be affirmative and to be positive and to be joyful. Look, I live in the same world that you do. I know what it's like to be around negative people. Oh my God, they can really bring you down. Some people are just intent on raining on your parade, aren't they? They just want to spew their toxic waste and try to make you feel as miserable as they do. Why do they do that? Well, because it really is a fact of life that misery loves company. And miserable people don't want to be alone. So they try to drag you down with them just so they can have company there in their misery. But I got news for you. Just the opposite is true as well. Joy loves company. And the more the merrier. The more the merrier. Be around people that are joyful, that make you laugh out loud. Fill your life with the spirit of joy. You know, life is a funny thing. It has many rewards, many compensations, from lowest to highest. I've been thinking a lot about compensation. The lowest form of compensation, do you know what it is? It's money. People do anything for money. Really. The highest form of compensation that you can get from being alive on this planet is knowing that something you did made somebody's life better. Made somebody's life better. We feel better. We feel better. We feel right. Something sits right in our soul when we know we've done something good for somebody. And that's why I've made it my personal goal to leave everyone I come in contact with a little better than I found them. Now, you got to know I don't always accomplish that goal. Sometimes when I'm driving on the freeway, I just don't want to leave them better than I found them. Right? Yeah. Sometimes I get off track. But more often than not, I work to leave people's lives better. Why? Why do I do that? For two reasons. One is this. I really, really do believe that what you give out returns to you. And I want good to consistently return to me. And the second reason is because I really honestly believe that people are wonderful. I love my species. I do. I think we are incredibly strong to go through the challenges that we go through in life, and yet so vulnerable at the same time. I think we are so wise, we are so filled with intelligence and wisdom, and we also do the stupidest things. But in the end, for the most part, I think everybody's doing the best they can. I think everybody is, and they really, really, really want to do good. And that's why when I see people that do something good, I make it a point to notice and mark it and tell them. Two stories about when I met my goal to leave people better than I found them. Happened in the last few weeks. The first happened a couple of weeks ago when I was in my neighborhood. I was doing my power walk, and I'm just coming up to my house. I'm like a half a block away. And on that day, it's bulky pickup day in Fort Lauderdale. If you live here, then you know what that means. That means that no matter what you put out on the curb, the city will pick it up. So you go by and you see furniture and mattresses and debris and dead bodies, whatever it is, the city, ex-lovers, yeah, take that. Bulky pickup, and so take it away. And so no matter what you put out there, the city's going to take it out. So, we had just, put a lot of debris out on the front, beating back the jungle in the backyard, and there's all these palm leaves and stuff. And it's actually fascinating if you've ever had the time to stop and watch how they do this. It's just one guy, right? It's one guy driving a truck. And he stops in front of our house, and he comes to the side of the truck, gets out of the driver's seat, and he goes over to operate this huge crane that picks everything up. So he scoops up all the palm leaves, right, and debris from the crane, and it goes in the back of the truck, and they do this over and over again until they have everything. So as I'm walking towards the house, I notice this guy goes above and beyond the call of duty, because after he uses the crane to scoop everything up, he gets out of the truck and he uses a hand rake to clean up the rest. And as I'm watching this, I'm walking towards the house, I'm like, this is amazing. So later that day, as I'm in my office working, I thought, I got to do something about this. I got to do something about this. So you know what I did? I called the city. And I asked to speak to the manager of bulky pickup. And the guy gets on the phone, and you can tell by the tone of his voice that he's heard a lot of complaints. And he's expecting to hear another one. Yeah? Yeah? And so I told him the story, and I said, look, I don't know what the guy's name is that did this, that went to all this effort personally, but he used a rake in my own yard. Please tell him how much I appreciate it. And I'm thinking maybe I ought to give him a raise. He was so overjoyed to hear from a happy customer that he thanked me for thanking him. Second story. I went to the dentist last week to get a filling replaced. And I was talking to my dentist, who happens to be very chatty. You get stuffing in your mouth, and it's like, how are you? So anyway, I was talking to my dentist between drilling sessions, and I asked him, I said, how are you doing? How are you doing? And I asked him this because I actually care about my dentist, and I know that in dental practice, when you're alone in your dental practice, you actually have the highest suicide rate of any profession in America. And I happen to know that, sadly, because a friend of mine who was a dentist took her own life. And I had a lot of trouble getting over that. Well, my dentist said, this is kind of a tough job, honestly. And he says, because you're doing stuff all the time that causes people pain, and it's hard to do a job. It's no fun to watch people be in pain. And so I told him about my friend who took her own life, and I made him promise to me that he would take care of himself. It's very important, since you're caring for other people, that you take special care of yourself. Do you do that? And he goes, actually, I'm pretty good at it. I go, please do more of that. When I got home, I sent him a thank you card for doing such a good job with my filling. Now, I don't know how many thank you cards a dentist is going to get. Probably very few. I just wanted him to know that the work that he does is important and he is valuable. The message here is simple. Do something to leave someone better than you found them. Do something to lift a spirit up. It's not that hard to make a difference. All you have to do is say a kind word and give encouragement. And trust, my friends, because the universe works, that what you give out to others will return right back to your life. Because that's the law. Life works, good happens, and people are wonderful. That's my mantra. And so ends the lesson. Oh, you're so kind. Sometimes when I read the headlines, when I hear the news of what happens in our world, I feel pretty helpless. I get frustrated. Sometimes I get angry. Mostly I just get sad. Sometimes I don't really know what to do with all that emotion. And so I take time, like we're going to do now, to turn away from all the chaos and confusion in the world and all the struggles that people go through, just to realize that love really is the only answer. And I close my eyes to all of it and turn it all off for just a minute and go within, because I know within me, as is within you and every sentient being in the universe, is the light of the universe and the love that heals. Let's go there now.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find. Spirit meets me there. Spirit meets me there.
If you place a plant by a window, when the sun comes through the window, the plant will bend toward the light. The intelligence within the plant knows to turn to its source for growth, for support, for sustenance. Let's bend to the light. Let's turn to the source of our good, the intelligence within our body that is beating our hearts, creating the 5 billion new cells so that this single body can stay alive for 24 more hours. Let's turn to the source of love and joy and healing. Let's let it heal us. Emotionally, psychologically, physically, spiritually, let's be healed. Turning away from the darkness and turning towards the light is the only necessary thing to do for the healing to begin, for love to make it stand again, for life to work for you again. Let's stop thinking about our worries and our problems and all of our challenges and start remembering that the light heals all, knows all, and does all. Let's be still and see if we can feel it in this room. Life works. Good always happens. People are really wonderful. Begin your day by expecting the highest possible good to unfold, because in a universe programmed to succeed, all is good, all is well. No matter what goes on around you, or what you've been through, what you've survived or overcome, the power within you is always greater. With you and with me, no matter what, right now and this minute, all is well. All is well. And so it is.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there.
Thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting CSL. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out on our website or social media. Blessings.